Welcome to Deep Dive with Juniper Networks. I'm your host, Mike Coker. Today we have Jay Killion from HPE. And what are we talking about today? Juniper access points. We got a Mist AP47 right here. We'll talk about that and talk about campus switching. So let's get into it. So when customers are buying Mist, switching access points, whatever, and they are deploying it, what are the top mistakes that you see customers kind of occurring, happening?
Yeah, let me see. If I talk about wireless, especially specifically, I will say one of the first is old habits die hard.
Okay.
And there are a lot of people that are used to turning off RRM.
Mm-hmm.
Spent 12 years at Cisco, 7 of those at Meraki. The vast number of my customers, they would turn off the auto stuff and then they would manually do it because as a human, they could do it better than, they could consistently do it better than the static algorithm was able to. So that's one of the big ones is almost a rebranding of RRM and saying, hey, I know, yes, you can now trust this. Exactly. It got a bad rap, but trust me, this now works. That's a big one. Oh, I'll give you another good one. We've had cases where a well-intending engineer reads an article about the need to disable your slower data rates. And so they'll say, okay, cool, I'm going to go turn off these slower data rates, and then all of a sudden you have hundreds of IoT devices that just stop working because they're dependent on 802.11b because their drivers are from 2011 or whatever. So those would be a couple of the mistakes. But then the other one I would say is if you're not used to using templates, it's just a game changer. It gives you a level of consistency and the ability to configure once and then deploy an infinite number of times and know that I have consistency amongst my infrastructure. So I would say not leveraging that would be another big one.
So keep going with the because we use this all the time with the templates and the site variables and stuff like that. So, so explain exactly kind of what that template is from an organization standpoint. I've got an office, a company, I'm going to build a second office, third office, and then what the site variables does in this component to map out and how that makes it easy.
You got it. I'm going to compare and contrast it.
Okay.
I'm going to contrast it from the world that I came from prior. Where we had templates, but they were rigid. Every single device.
You created them.
That's exactly right.
Just to make that clear. It's not like you use the vendor to do anything. You're creating your own templates, your own scripts, your own.
That's
whatever.
right. So you create this template, and then every device in that template has to run the same version of firmware. They have to have the same configuration. It's extremely uniform, and so
same model switches across the board.
You could have the one I'm referencing at least. You could have different models, but they had to have the same configurations and run the same version of code. And so if you were a customer of size, and so everything wasn't uniform, and so say you have 3 different tiers of sites based on bandwidth and users and usage, that means you would have 3 different templates. And now you would need to figure out, well, how do I keep these 3 templates in sync? How do I know that this template is the same as that someone hasn't changed something over here and now they're out of sync? Well, you don't. That's the answer. You don't know that. So I had one very, very large fast food customer that serves amazing chicken sandwiches, and my former company, the rigidity of our templates led to a company-wide outage during lunchtime.
Oh, geez.
Whoa! I mean, for a company that already has lines around the block because their customers love them already, like going down at lunchtime when they are so dependent on a digital infrastructure to be working. Well, the cause of it was they had one template, and there was one change that was made, and it went out to everything, every single device. And so it's similar to how you have VLANs to limit that fault domain. So their only option was now to, well, okay, now we have to have multiple templates. So in our world, what we offer with Mist is, we would say it's a grown-up version of that. If you only have one template and everything's the same, rock on. Like, we can do that all day, every day. But there's also what you correctly named. There's also site variables. So even I'm still in this same template, but within that I can have subsets where I have things that now aren't constants, and they can be different across different locations. And it's not just variables. It's not just different pieces of configuration for QoS and subnet size and authentication methods and things like that. Even more, it's also the firmware. Like, I can run different versions of firmware, and this is really important, because if I'm going to upgrade to a new version of code, I don't want every single device in my template to all have to upgrade at once. I want to take 5 locations and do those first. Is everything good? Okay, now let's do 20. Is it still good? And you want to do it like that. And so it's a level of flexibility where it is simple enough for a Joe's Pizza or whatever. If you have one single location, it works for that. But it scales all the way to the largest companies in the world. They manage their global deployments using this method.
And it expedites those deployments.
100%.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, is you bring up a new site and you just, it's all there to deploy, and you make the few minor changes, and the deployment speed.
That's right.
It's huge.